It's Pac-Man! This 3D printed Pac-Man started out as a digital sculpt and then ended up in my wall. Here's how I made it from design to completion. Hey there and welcome to the Art Lab. My name is Andy and I make art with mixed media including 3D prints. In today's video we're looking at something that's been on my ideas board for probably the past few months, and that is a Pac-Man wall art. I modelled this Pac-Man art using a couple of different modelling tools. One of those is Nomad Sculpt, which you can use on the iPad, and the other is Tinkercad, which is a web-based basic CAD program. For the actual maze and the little white pills that Pac-Man eats, I use Tinkercad. If you're starting out in the world of 3D modelling, then Tinkercad is definitely the first program I'd recommend to people. The good thing about Tinkercad is it'll give you some clean, sharp lines, and that's what I used to make the maze, which was in two colours. So I had a base white and then a top outer ring of blue. This whole artwork is 60 centimeters by 40 centimeters, and so I had to split that maze into different sections to be able to then print and get that maze looking perfect. The printer I used is my trusty old Ender 3 Max. It's a bit of a dinosaur now. I got that in 2020 and it's showing its age, but it did the trick for this. But you know, hey, Creality or any other 3D printer companies out there, I'm open to sponsorship. Hint hint. Anyway, it handled all the big parts, and I used PLA, which is a corn-based plastic that's sturdy and is also eco-friendly, which is something I like. Quite often with these big prints I get what's called plastic spaghetti, but luckily this time I made it through this huge print unscathed. For Pac-Man's face I used acrylics to add that arcade perfect look, and for the rest of the artwork I painted that black, so that's just pine and an MDF sheet which I put together to make the artboard, and I painted that all black. And with the white and blue maze pieces and the ghosts and the yellow Pac-Man, that black really makes those colours pop. Now, one of the things that spurred me along to get this completed was the fact that we had Creality ShareFest in Auckland last weekend, and I was able to enter my Pac-Man wall art into the 3D printed competition, so it really gave me a boost a few weeks before the competition to get it all finished. On the day, Star Wars was the winner with someone who created a BB-8 that came in third, and then someone's R2-D2 build, which took a year to print and sand and paint and get it all running with all the electronics, that actually won first place. The first place winner walked away with the new Creality High printer, which is a multicolour printer. It's definitely on my wish list to try to win, but even though I didn't win, my Pac-Man wall art got a number of votes, and so it was a great feeling to have some people vote for me. And competition is fun because it gets everyone sort of motivated to put their 3D prints forward, but the real prize for the day was the community being built with events like this. So a big thanks to Creality Australia, New Zealand and PB Tech for hosting. It was a great day and I really enjoyed myself at the event. One of the hardest tasks was actually gluing everything down, and so you had to get that alignment just right. Now I had worked out the spacing, so I had sort of 25mm blocks. The maze was 25mm wide, and so I was able to sort of use a couple of spare blocks to be able to do that spacing, but this was using a really fast drying super glue, so I had to make sure everything was perfect before I actually put it down. So very nerve-wracking, but we got there in the end. And likewise, lining up the little white pills that Pac-Man eats in the arcade game, that was also another nerve-wracking moment. I actually built myself a little jig, so I 3D printed a strip of plastic which is 25mm wide, and I had holes for the white dots to go in so I could get them all lined up. So to wrap up, here is the final artwork. Hours and hours of printing, and definitely a few hours trying to line things up to get it all glued in, and a number of hours to do some painting and touch-ups, etc. as well. But I think it was all worth it, and I love how this has turned out. So if you've got a favourite arcade classic you'd like to see 3D printed and turned into wall art, drop a comment below. And if you're into mixed media art, hit that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber already. And more experiments and 3D prints, mixed media art coming soon. So until next time, keep creating.